Facebook posting today on a new page. You go back and look at it from an old, the wife of his t-ball coach.
Oh yeah.
Who posted this thing about how all she remembers is how Jeremy hated to play t-ball, but he loved to chase the butterfly. And this is coming back to me now. So I'm talking about his thesis, because one of the things that I loved about the dude was he never lost his sense of wonderment. For all of his intellect and compassion and adulthood, he could see something really simple and just freak out about it. And when he won the thesis award, he loved sushi, and TJ and I, anytime he would accomplish something, sushi's on us. And we'd head out to get sushi, and we were sitting at Sushi Zen, and I don't have really great eyesight. So I'm eating, and the lights are kind of dim, and everybody's talking, and I'm trying to pick through the stuff on my plate. And I mistaked that hunk of wasabi for a piece of roll. And I got it up with my chopsticks, so I was kind of wondering why it was coming apart. I put the whole thing in my mouth. And then swallowed it. And if you ever want to know where all your internal parts are, do that. You know exactly where your stomach is, where your esophagus is. And he stopped and he looked at me and he's like, "Oh my God, dude! You ate that whole piece of wasabi!" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "You want mine?" And it was fascinating. He was just, and he kept talking. He's like, "I can't believe you ate that whole piece of wasabi." I just love the wonderment. There's somebody back here.
Somebody out there.
Somebody out there too.
Oh, yeah. I'm gonna try to say it together as possible because I'm really emotional. But my name is DJ. I actually didn't have the pleasure of having Jeremy as a professor, but I was a teaching assistant for his Introduction to Sequential Art class, and Meg was actually in the class. And there are a couple of the classmates that were there that are here today. And thank you all for being here. Like, what else is there to say about Jeremy that we haven't already said before? Like, he was always on point, always. Always. Like, when I first met him, like, I would see him out at a couple bars that I go to, and then I'm like, wasn't he in Norris? And then I'm like, okay, and then I go back to class the next day, I'm like, there he is! And then I'm like, who is this guy that comes in here with a three-piece suit every day? And I'm like, and I try to be the best dressed person in the sequential art department, and I set my game up when it comes to this guy. I'm like, this is unbelievable. But yeah, being like in not the student-teacher relationship, but almost a sort of a colleague kind of a relationship with Jeremy. He made sure that every student in every class that he had, that their needs were met, that whatever it is that they wanted to do, that he would encourage that. And I think that's what's so important about being here, and the fact that our department is so close, and he was truly, truly a treasure in our department, a true treasure.
Thank you.
But anyway, he just cared so much about all of us and everyone in our department so much. And like, when I met him, he was like, "I've heard about you. I've never seen your work." And he looked at my work, and I'm always apprehensive when I show my work to another professor, because I'm like, "Oh God, what are they gonna say?" But he was really encouraging, and it brings me to a story about what happened. It was this past quarter. We had I had an impromptu portfolio review, and pitch with Oni Press, and he was one of the professors that was in the room, and I came in to be a SCAD representative, and let's talk about Savannah College of Art and Design, not talk about my own work. So the guy comes up to me and he's like, "So, you've shown us all of your stuff, but you haven't pitched us anything yet." So I pitched my work, and I basically stumble all over myself. I'm shitting a brick the entire time. And then I get a phone call Monday morning after that event had taken place, and it's Sweetwater, and he calls me and he's like, "DJ, I want to invite you to my my self-promotion class in the grad self-promo class, and because I saw that you were struggling with your pitch, and that was going to be the focus of the class today. And I'm like, this motherfucker is going to spend a whole day in class about me and put me on blast. And I was so mad. I was livid. I just stormed in the classroom. I sat in the back, and I just had my arms crossed the entire time because I was so mad. But
we were also mad
we
because
were all,
our class had this assignment that Jeremy made up in a night.
He made it up on the fly and had a whole PowerPoint presentation and I was ready, and I'm like, how the fuck do you have it? It blows my mind how he's always on point. He's always on point, like and like you say, he's such a dichotomy, like with his webcomic, and then how he presents himself as a professional, as a professor. And nobody does it like he does. Nobody can do it. Nobody will be able to do it like Jeremy did.
Thank you.
And he'll surely be missed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, DJ.
My name is Branson. I was one of the students in his webcomic class. And the first time I encountered Jeremy, I was sitting in the classroom on the phone talking to my cousin, and I was having a problem, you know, it was like bad reception and everything, and I was like, yeah, I can't hear. He was teaching a student right next to me. So I'm like, yeah, I can't hear and everything. And then he says, oh yeah, well this is a classroom so you can get out. And I'm like, who is this asshole? You know? Like he didn't even know what's going on, right? So I get up and I walk out. I'm like, this bald guy in a suit, you know? I'm never gonna see him again, you know. I walk out. And next thing I know, you know, I find out about his website, you know, I'm sitting in a class with him. You know, what I do remember is that he was just really this great guy, you know, and he came to class every day dressed up in a suit, you know, he just demanded respect. I didn't know, you know, what else to do at that point. You know, I couldn't remain angry at him, you know, it was like, you know, the whole phone call thing, but you know, I do know that he really spent a lot of time, extra time, you know, making sure that his students, you know, had their stuff together, because for me sometimes I could really be a wreck, you know, people know. He stayed after class, and I had like a 5 to 7:30 with him, and he stayed till Norris was about to close. And as I'm about to leave, he was checking to make sure I had a ride home or not, you know. He's just a really great, considerate guy, and he's an awesome professor.
Thank you.
You know, and he definitely will be missed.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Brandon.
We have. So, can we hear you?
Yeah.
Okay. There you go. Come on up.
So along the lines of Jeremy's necktie fetish, or whatever you want to call that, I had a funny story that came to mind, and it's about basically Jeremy's big blue eyes and his beautiful contagious smile and his necktie collection. I did not know Jeremy for that long. I only knew him for about 10 weeks when he came over to Lacoste, France, and that was my last quarter there. So that winter was kind of historical because it was the biggest snowstorm in about 25 years in the south of France. So everything was totally shut down. And when Jeremy got there, he of course did not have his luggage with him, as did anybody else. So it was a pretty stressful time. We couldn't leave the village. There were no clothes. There was no food or anything like that. And Jeremy was always just smiling and laughing, like, I'm just really happy to be here. But about day 3, you know, it was kind of overwhelming for me, and I noticed that Jeremy was wearing the same shirt and the same pants, and you know, I kind of forget who was who in the beginning, and I said, man, you know, are you going to change clothes? You got 13 weeks here. And he said, well, dude, I don't have any luggage, remember? So I kind of really felt bad, and by now Jeremy was shivering. He was kind of ashen looking, and it was really cold. So that night at dinner, I had an extra jacket, and I took it down to him. And talk about big, happy smiles. When he put on that old used jacket that I had. I mean, I think that was the happiest guy I've ever seen in my life. Until the next day, when his luggage finally showed up. You know, most people would check their ID, check their passport, or whatever. Jeremy wanted to find out if his ties were okay. So he ripped open the bag and he starts pulling out all these ties. And that was probably the most happiest that he had ever been. So that's the memory that I have of Jeremy, and I just want to take this opportunity to thank his parents for having Jeremy, for allowing him to be a part of all of our lives, because without them, then none of us would be here. Thank you.
Thank you.